All right. Good morning, everybody. Karika, Samkhya Karika, verse number 10 and 11. Right. These two kind of like, they go together. So it begins. The manifest is caused, non eternal, non pervading, active, manifold, dependent, emergent, conjunct, and subordinate. The unmanifest is just the reverse. I'm going to read 11, and then we'll go back and we'll discuss a little bit. 11. The manifest is composed of the three attributes. The manifest is composed of the three attributes: non-discriminated, objective, general, non-intelligent, and productive. So also is nature. Spirit is the reverse of that, as well as similar. So in 10 we have essentially nature being the source of, like, all the things that we see and we can understand, right? The things that we can essentially interact with, right? These things are all they all come from a single source. Now it's interesting, right? The unmanifest, which is nature, right? In this case, is just the reverse. So, for instance, the manifest, right? That is everything, again, that we can see and experience and so on. It is non-eternal because it is produced from another. All right. It is non-pervading, right? That is, it is not all pervading. The manifest is not all pervading as nature and spirit are, right? So nature and spirit are being put in a different category altogether. It's that which kind of springs forth, right? The effect of nature is the what here is being described as the manifest, which is intellect, ego, the 10 senses, right? The normal ones that we know of, right? Hearing and seeing and so on, plus the five others: grasping, eliminating, um, things of that nature. The elements, right? The gross and subtle elements. And then the gunas, but the gunas kind of like get all tied in later on. So, anyway, so those things that are manifest that I just described come from nature, right? Nature is the cause, and the manifest, again, which I just described, is its effect. All right. So again, the manifest, it is manifold, right? There are many parts to it, right? As I described: intellect, ego, senses, objects, all that stuff, elements, excuse me, all that stuff. It is emergent, right? It is endowed with the characteristics of merging, right? And is disillusion, right? The right things kind of disappear, but also kind of remain. Right. So if we describe the unmanifest, right? So the manifest, of course, is non-eternal, and therefore the nature, right, manifests cause. Nature is eternal. It goes on and on and on. Um, the manifest is active, right? If the manifest is active, then the unmanifest, or nature, is inactive, which is peculiar, right? Because it's the source of all things. Why is it inactive? Well, the idea of it being inactive is that it is not. Trying to describe this is going to be tricky, right? Because it's not like it's trying to. It's not trying to create, right? It is just being, and therefore things spring forth from it. In this philosophical system, it's akin to trying to describe God to somebody. So, right, it's not, um, you know, dictating, let's say, right? It's not causing the flower to bloom, right? Nature, in that it is all pervasive, is something that we might come to if I decide to read that part. It's ever present, right? It's it's causing, right, the existence of the flower. It pervades the flower, but it is not forcing, it's not active in the flower's um, blooming, right? Or apply that to anything that you might observe in nature, right? So if the manifest, that is the ego, intellect, and others, is manifold, the unmanifest is one, right? It's one. So again, I mean, this aligns so wonderfully with so many religions and philosophical systems. All right, the manifest is conjunct, right? That is, therefore, the unmanifest nature is without parts, right? Is without any parts. All right. Well, let's go on to 11. In 11, as mentioned, the manifest is composed of the three attributes, right? Non discriminated, objective, general, non intelligent, and productive. So also is nature. Spirit is the reverse of that, as well as similar. Mm. All right, so let's just break down a little bit of this. Um, the manifest, right? Again, the ego, the intellect, the senses, the subtle and gross elements, all of which kind of comprise the evolutes in this philosophical system. They are right. They're composed of these three attributes. They're non-discriminated. They're objective. They're general, non-intelligent, and productive. So also is nature. So these are qualities in which nature possesses as well. But on the other hand, spirit does not possess these qualities. So we're kind of climbing a ladder here, if you will, right? Where we have the manifest, intellect, ego, and the rest. They are caused by nature. Nature itself has certain qualities to it that are also reflected in the manifest, right? These qualities are objective, discriminated, non-discriminated, excuse me, um, uh, have the three attributes that are productive and non-intelligent, right? So nature and the manifest have those qualities, while spirit has the reverse, right? So the manifest is not intelligent. Uh, it is not conscious of pleasure, pain, and delusion. All right. The manifest is productive, right? So from intelligence, ego is produced. From ego, the five subtle elements are produced, right? You have this idea of like each element being aligned with a subtle element as well. Each gross element aligned with a subtle element as well. Okay. So the manifest, again, intellect, ego, and such, is objective, and nature is also objective because it's the object of enjoyment for all the spirits, right? So nature, it creates, right? It is the cause for that which is manifest, right? Uh, then it also holds this quality of well, in this case, we'll say general. It's non-discriminating. It's objective, right? So in objective, as I just described, it is the object of enjoyment for all of the spirits. So the manifest and the unmanifest are objective. Spirit is non-objective, right? The manifest and the unmanifest are general. The spirit is non-general or individual. The manifest and the unmanifest. Again, this is like us or like all things. as well as nature as being one, uh, are non intelligent. Spirit is conscious of pleasure, pain, and delusion. It knows them, therefore, it is intelligent. So I don't want to go too far down, but I think I've gone down this rabbit hole far enough. But if we take that example of intelligence, right? We know that the manifest can be intelligent because intelligence, right, or this knowledge or that can be attained through study is clearly present in the manifest, right? Intellect, for example, is one of the evolutes, ego and the senses and so forth. But the intelligence that Kapila is really reaching for here is intelligence of uh, nature, of the intelligence, or as Patanjali would put it, would be it is not diluted, as Kapila had mentioned, right? It is the removing of misconceptions, the removing of ignorance. So it's not, we're not saying intelligence cannot be gained by observation of the manifest of nature. The intelligence that comes from the spirit is enormously deeper. It's subtle, does not require reading or anything of that nature, doesn't require study. So therefore, we simply know, and it's weird. We don't know all things. We don't know, how a thing is built, or understand quantum physics or anything of that nature. But what we do know is this natural unfolding of nature. The deeper we go towards the source, the deeper our understanding of how things operate within nature, our intelligence grows. So that's one of the beautiful things in the practice of yoga. If you're a meditator, if you have an opportunity to work with the Karika, the Samkhya Karika, in this philosophical school, we can see how there's like this system. It's almost like a ladder, and with each part that you understand, as you get closer to the top of the spirit, the less you have to know, but somehow the deeper you understand things. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your day.